Means we should probably talk about religion. All right. I wish I knew of another Bible story I could read. But what do I know? Let's just put in the Bible as a base. Interesting that the Bible wiki page can't be edited. The Bible is a collection of religious texts that are central to Christianity and Judaism, which is weird, right? Because which parts of the Bible are Jewish and which parts aren't? And esteemed in other Abrahamic religions, such as Islam. Let's look up Abrahamic religions. So interesting, when you look up Abrahamic religions, that's what pops up. Is that what you would think? The Abrahamic religions are a set of monotheistic religions that revere the Bible figure Abraham, namely Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The religions of this set share doctrinal, historical, and geographic overlap that contrast with the Indian religions, Iranian religions, and East Asian religions. I didn't realize Iranian religions were their own category. Indian religions, Iranian religions, and East Asian religions. Iranian religions, also known as the Persian religions. Yeah, see, the fact that we call it Iran is funny considering it's the land of Persia. Iranian religions, also known as the Persian religions, are in the context of comparative religion, a group of religious movements that originated in the Iranian plateau, which accounts for the bulk of what is called Greater Iran. Did you ever hear about this? The beliefs, activities, and cultural events of the ancient Iranians and ancient Iran are complex matters. The ancient Iranians made references to a combination of several Aryans and non-Aryan tribes. That's strange. The documented history of Iranian religions begins with Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism, also called Mazdaism, is an Iranian religion centered on the Avesta and the teachings of Zarathustra. Spitama, who is more commonly referred to by the Greek translation Zoroaster, among the world's oldest organized faiths. Its adherents exalt an uncredited, benevolent, and all-wise deity known as Ahura Mazda. Mazda. Really? Oh, look, the piece of shit, child molesting, pedophile, genocide piece of shit Mike Rosenthal is here. Gotta love that. These pedophiles, man, they are determined. I mean, they're here religiously. who is hailed as the supreme being of the universe, Ahura Mazda. Opposed to Ahura Mazda is Angra Mainyu, who is personified as a destructive spirit and the adversary of all things that are good. As such, Zoroastrian, the Zoroastrian religion combines a dualistic cosmology of good and evil with an astrological outlook predicting the ultimate triumph of Ahura Mazda over evil. Opinions vary among scholars as to whether Zoroastrianism is monotheistic, polytheistic, henotheistic, or a combination of all three. Zoroastrianism shaped Iranian culture and history, while scholars differ on whether it significantly influenced ancient Western philosophy and the the Abrahamic religions, or gradually reconciled with other religions and traditions such as Christianity and Islam. So are we saying this predates originating from Zoroaster's reforms of the ancient Iranian religion? So this even goes further. Like, this is the reformed version of the ancient Iranian religion, was a set of ancient beliefs and practices of the Iranian peoples before the rise of Zoroastrianism. The religion closest to it was the historical Vedic religion that was practiced during the Vedic period. The Vedic period meaning minus 1500 to minus 600. So way before your Jesus. And to me it seems pretty obvious that Judaism is new. You know, this idea of Hebrew needing to be revived in the 19th, in the late 1800s, early 1900s. To me, that's sort of the smoking gun. Morning, Matt. Matt, 12 years, 34 subscribers. What was so significant about 12 years ago that so many people joined YouTube? The major deities worshipped were Ahura Mazda and Mithra from Iran to Rome, but Attar was also worshipped as names of kings and common public, showing devotion to these three exists in most cases. But some sects, the precursors of the Magi, also worshipped Ahura Mazda, the chief of the Ahuras. With the rise of Zoroaster and his new reformatory religion, Ahura Mazda you're only 28? Jesus Christ. Wait, 13, 25? Only 25? You're just a young buck, man. Here I thunk you was older. 26. Wowzers. What I wouldn't give to be 26. I met my wife when I was 26. Ho hum. Seriously, if I knew what I know now, there's no way I would have kids. I wouldn't be married and I wouldn't have kids. It's so... It's so hard loving something that much and not, you know, not being able to make it what you want it to be. I got a guy next door to me who's a year or two older than me, and he's single, and I'm jealous of him way more than he's jealous of me, if ever. Also, don't get along with people. I mean, your generation is really dumb. It's shocking. And at the same time, it's your generation that's the one that's standing up to Israel, so it's weird. But the generation that thought to call girls bro, I won't ever understand that shit. Wow, grats on your 3-day bender. Yup, that's what happened. Then Alpha gets dumber. Glad I didn't board their exact boat. I wouldn't do it, dude. Having kids is amazing, no doubt, especially when they're little and they're fun and they think the world of you. But as soon as it just gets so difficult. It just gets so difficult. Anyway, let's get back to it. With the rise of Zoroaster. Okay, so the Iranian peoples emerged as a separate branch of Indo-Iranians in the 2nd millennium BC, during which they came to dominate the Eurasian steppe and the Iranian plateau. Their religion is derived from Proto-Indo-Iranian religion. Okay, so now let's go back. Proto-Indo-Iranian religion was the religion of the Indo-Iranian peoples and includes topics such as mythology, legendary, folk tales, and folk beliefs of early Indo-Iranian culture. Reconstructed concepts include the universal force, Harta, Sanskrit, I don't know. The sacred plant and drink, Soma, it's called Soma. In Sanskrit, it's called Soma. And gods of social order, such as Mithra, Persian Mithra, and, wow, that's a weird, BH squared? Look at how that's written. B, little tiny h, Baga, origins and development. Indo-Iranian languages include 3 subgroups: the Indo-Aryan languages, including the Dardic language, the Iranian languages, East and West, and the Nuristani languages. From these various and dispersed cultures, a set of common ideas may be reconstructed from which a common, unattested Proto-Indo-Iranian source may be deduced. I've been thinking of kids, and more and more lately, to be honest, I'm leaning towards no, because I couldn't afford the best life for them. Plus, dude, if you're 26, like I had kids at 32 and 34. I think 32, 34. Yeah. 31 and 34 or 33. And I mean, I think if you're going to have kids, like, you absolutely should wait till you're probably 30 or more, just so you can live your own life first. But then I'm telling you, it's like it's a lot of work. You don't feel like, you don't stay up like you did before and all that. It's crazy. You couldn't raise kids because you have to be able to put yourself last. Uh-huh. And we know I don't do that. The economy is fucked. You know, everybody always thinks the economy is fucked. Like, even during the times when they tell us the economy was booming, at that time, those people were like, it's fucked. Shit's so fucked. But yes, things are really fucked up. And as history will tell you, the late 20s and 30s, every 100 years is a tumultuous time, to say the least. So it's actually kind of scary. Does Trump think we never passed the first grade? I mean, I don't know. If you're gonna exaggerate shit, you take away from what you're trying to say. To me, like, Trump knows that the people are stupid. He said it long before he got elected. He said that he could shoot a man in the middle of the street, point blank, on TV, and the people would still vote for him. He represents something bigger than politics. You know, Trump supporters aren't his supporters for political reasons. Just about everybody knows that the two-party political system is a fucking joke anyway. And if you weren't, if you had any questions, to 2016 election shows you that. You know, Trump lost. Hillary won by 2.7 million votes. 2,700,000 more people voted for Hillary than Trump. And the APAC swamp put him in anyway. Even though he swore he was going to drain that swamp. And again, the idea of draining the swamp being such a good thing to people. Like, people don't. What does drain the swamp even mean? You ask 99% of the people what drain the swamp means, and they're not going to know. They're just going to be like, basically, get rid of the fucking pieces of shit in the office. But, you know, the more you look, the more you realize, like, the swamp is AIPAC. And AIPAC controls everything. And people are starting to wake up to that shit. But when it comes to Trump, Trump doesn't represent politics. Most people don't support the politician because of their politics. You know, Obamacare was Romney Care. That's what it was originally called. And then they had a Hillary Care plan set up just in case. But Romney was the originator to Obamacare. They just changed the name to take advantage of things. Isn't even required to go with the... I mean, you know, when you're talking about the whole electoral college thing, again, something that you've been brainwashed into just thinking is normal. When asked about the electoral college, how does it work? You don't fucking know. None of you know. You know it was supposedly set up early on because to balance out each state's votes, because each state's vote matters. And you don't want California picking the president each year, do you? Shit like that. But in modern times, the Electoral College has only had to step in 3 times. The first 2 were when George Bush Jr. won both times, and the third time was with Trump. You know, and just this idea that the person that gets the most votes doesn't win. It's the only election in the world that it works that way. There's literally no point in us voting if at the end of the day they'll just override the vote. We had nothing to do with it. Voting is just an illusion. It's just a barometer. They like to see where people stand and all that. That's why they do like a year before the actual election, they'll give you candidates like Chris Christie and the fuck is that 7-day Adventist guy, Dr. Ben Carson, that's it. And they present these two fucking polar opposites to see which way the people are leaning. Obviously, Chris Christie is the, hard to say it, but less refined Donald Trump, when Ben Carson was the opposite. The not white, fat, racist doofus guy. And if Chris Christie gets any sort of support over the much better candidate in Ben Carson, even though he's a 7-day event, like they throw enough in there to make it so he's just ridiculous. 7-day Adventist. He closes his eyes when he talks. Like, just a strange motherfucker. Thinks the pyramids were grain silos. But when you saw, when they presented you with that, and they could gauge where the people stood by how we apparently, like they presented it like it's real. Like Ben Carson actually has a chance of being president. Like Chris Christie actually had a chance of being president. And then of course they give those guys both anybody who participates in the election play, they get a good job. They get a good job afterward. Warner. On these various and dispersed cultures, you just don't think. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Depending on the state and how the individual state votes, if it is a winner, then take all of that state electors will vote for the winning candidate. Yeah. That doesn't explain it. That's just the explanation that's given. But it's still stupid. It shouldn't. Again, why would California pick the president in certain cases and it's fine? Because no matter what you have, you're going to have California going to have one of the biggest votes, if not the biggest vote. So you're always going to have that. So why would it matter? Sometimes, 3 times it doesn't. It matters. Any other time, it's fine. But, what makes more sense? That it's there for our benefit, or it's there as a fail-safe in case we don't, quote, pick the right person. I mean, they your mind is fucked with. At this point, what you think of, it's always about how you think, not what you think. If you control how people think, then what they think is no big deal. So when you have desensitized the population to the size of 1 million, back in recent history, and not even that long ago, 1 million was barely used. And 1 billion definitely wasn't used. And 1 trillion wasn't. It was just the mathematicians, the smartest of the day, they understood that 1 trillion is just too much of a concept for you to even fathom it. And I think the minutes, the only way you can even sort of grasp the size of it is by looking at it in the minutes category, because it's, what is it, like 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 35 years. And 1 trillion seconds is like 300 or 37,500 years or something like that. You can't comprehend these numbers. You know, you're, of course, you're an arrogant American, thinks they know everything, can't be told shit. But you know, so I say you can't fathom these numbers. You go, yes, I can. You can't. You can't. Get out of Get. Get out. Get out. Rolly, get out. I'm too stupid. So when you understand that 2,700,000, almost 3 million more people voted. Stop it. God, I hate dogs, man. Voted for Hillary over Trump. Like this is, you know, if you were given $2.7 million, you'd live a great life for the rest of your life. If you were smart, you'd turn it into even more money, but that's a whole different topic. You know, it's funny. These guys love to call me different characters, right? But most of the characters they come up with are like decent looking dudes. RVD, Johnny Depp. Like, okay, I'll take it. But this whole, like, the arrogance and you thinking you understand it. The arrogance in thinking you have any sort of grasp on how all that shit works, especially behind the scenes. And unless you start with APAC, your whole perspective is skewed, right? Your perspective is skewed. Now, see, for all the new people, you have somebody trying to paint the picture. First of all, they're telling you you're too stupid to figure things out for yourself. And then they're going to try to compensate for their inability to actually argue against anything I have to say. Because it's Israeli shit, you know. At the end of the day, this feed is all about we should kill pedos, and the genocide and the J control of everything. And instead of there being support for those ideas, the commenters, the secret commenters who refuse to show their faces, I gave them a chance, man. And they I know we're getting off to the side here, but just think about what this takes. I challenged the negative commenters who come here every day and beg for attention. I challenged them to make a 5-minute video called Guy Williams Sucks. Post it on YouTube. You know, takes you 5 minutes. You just look at the video, and it doesn't even have to be 5 minutes, but you as a person, your face, talk to the camera about what I'm wrong about, why I suck, whatever it may be. If if you do that, title it again, Guy Williams Sucks, and then after the next day, I'll play it on my feed. I'll play the video. Instead of any one of them actually taking me up on it, they make a 5-minute plus video that is a bunch of clips of different videos from the past. So not only do they have all of my videos cataloged. Wow, that's cool as hell. Not only do they have all of my videos cataloged, they have all these different spots in each video that they know that I said this or I said that they don't like. So they took a bunch of clips from my previous videos, actually edited them by writing over them with whatever program allows that, and put those clips together with a bunch of pro-Israel propaganda in between each clip. And then came by bragging about it. Look, we did it. We made the video. So then I went and looked. And of course, they have a song playing during the video. So if I were to play it on here for what it is, it would probably, you know, flag something or whatever. And then they came here bragging, like, look what we did, look what we did. What do you think would take more time and effort and energy? Making a quick video where you talk to the camera, or putting together a compilation with a whole bunch of clips from different videos, along with a bunch of clips from around the internet that you have saved? And put, like, seriously, do you know how long it would have taken to put that video together? Even if you're good at that kind of shit. To have those videos all queued up and ready, and then the little each spot that you want at the exact second to start. And they love to end the clips before I say the thing that's being said, like before I can finish saying it. So they can, you know, it's just like silly basic shit. But still, that would take some time. That would take some energy, right? Especially compared to just making a quick video where you show your face talking shit about me. Who can't do that? That seems pretty easy. But they never did it. And you know, when you understand, you know, for new people here, ask yourself, like, how that makes sense to you. Does that sound like something you do? Have you ever done that? Have you ever made a compilation video of another person that you supposedly hate, of a bunch of their videos where there's clips of different things they said that I guess made you mad, and then spliced it in with a bunch of propaganda videos? Have you ever done anything even close to that? Thank you for discounting any points you make. Making IQ jokes makes you beyond unintelligent. I mean, at the end of the day, anything they say is just nonsense. You know, this is a fake profile that is apparently obsessed with me. Comes here every day and begs for attention, but won't actually embrace or engage anything being said because they're stupid. I mean, they don't really know anything. You've watched maybe 40 minutes over 3 days. You've been here a lot longer than that. And not one point has been made. You are right. When I flat out say that we should kill pedophiles, end the genocide, and eliminate the J religion, the J cult that controls the world. No points being made there. Nothing to debunk there. And then you're going to cry, tell me about submarines. Why should I change what I'm talking about? Because you can't even hide behind it this time. You know, you can see that the title is much bigger. But all you have to do is go watch the first 9 parts. Submarines aren't real, part 1 through 9. You know I've said that one too. That's another point that's been made. This guy knows about how long he's watched over a 3-day period. That's fucking stupid, man. Make Israel Palestine again. Yeah, no shit. It's not the title. It's called the title of the show. And it's been explained to you many, many, many times. But it's, you know, this guy is one of these people who doesn't understand what titles mean. So he goes to Shell gas station every day and wonders why they fucking, where are all the seashells? How come you're not selling any seashells? Your logo is a seashell. Your name is Shell. Why don't you? This is a guy who pick your band name. He buys a ticket to their concert and he's wondering why aren't they on, where's all the pumpkins? I wanted to see pumpkins being smashed. What the hell? And even if the video was about submarines and for some reason we went off track and we started talking about something different, something very much more important than submarines, than my perspective on submarines, which is the genocide, which is the pedophilia, the slavery. All that is much more important. You would think you would be able to interject on that level. Instead, you're going, no, stop talking about those things and talk about this instead. That's all I want to talk about because I'm more important. Okay, what I want to talk about is what we need to talk about. And yeah, you've said multiple times that if I really was interested in submarines, I could go watch the first 9 parts and I would get my fill of submarine debunk. And I mean, it's strange too, because if I'm wrong, you would think these guys would like jump at the opportunity. You know, they live swinging on my nuts as is. So you would think, you know, this is a 9-part series. There's lots and lots for them to debunk. Lots for them to make me look stupid, you know. They could easily, morning Dookie. They could easily make me look stupid, and instead of doing that, they come here and try to get me to talk about something, and then if I do, they don't talk about it. What's up, dude?
Dad, guess where journal is?
Laying
inside one of my pant legs.
Laying inside one of your pant legs. How'd I do? Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm a psychic. You know, I mean, it's just the more you think about it, the more obvious it is. If they really gave a shit, they would just take advantage of the situation. Go watch those videos and make me look stupid and, you know, or even watch those videos, see the points that are being made, and because you're so much smarter than me, come at me with all those points that I made that were wrong that you can debunk on my next video. You said this and blah blah blah. Well, that's not correct because of this. You try it. It just seems like that would be the logical thing to do. That's what I do. I question the way the world works. I go look at the source that they want me to look at, which at this point is Wikipedia, and I go from there. I don't do any sort of proofreading. You know, I don't pre-read. I don't pre-screen it just to make sure it fits. I go to all of these things pretty much open. Like if I end up reading it and I'm wrong and it makes me look stupid, well then that's what happened. Okay? That's how that works. Damn. Somehow the page got lost. So now I gotta go back and figure out where the fuck I was. Indo-Iranian religion. Oh, what was it? Indo-Iranian. Damn, man. Damn, that sucks. All right, so we started with the Bible. Well, it's not my problem that I provide you with too much information. And I think that's quite an exaggeration. 40 to 50 hours. But that's pretty thorough if you ask me. And if I'm wrong, well then you don't even need to watch the whole thing, right? You can just watch the first couple of things, the first couple points being made. Knock those out. And if the first couple things that are made, the first couple points that are made are wrong, well then, it's safe to assume the rest are. So I started with the Bible, but I got sidetracked by Abrahamic religions, because then you clicked on Abrahamic religions, and that's what pops up. And then I was like, I didn't know, it said something about Iranian religions, and I didn't realize that there were specific Iranian religions. And when you understand that there are specific ancient Iranian religions that have been, rivaled the narrative that we're given, it maybe sort of adds to why Iran is the perpetual bad guy. Again, why would I care whether you had a nice summary on my perspective on submarines? Personally, I don't think my perspective on submarines matters nearly as much as what we're talking about. But for some reason, you lose sleep at night. You set alarms on Sunday morning. You're here begging for me to pay attention to you, for me to talk about this thing. You want to hear me specifically talk about this one thing. And instead of addressing the much greater point being made, this is what you want us to be distracted by the narrative. And it just, to me, that says everything, right? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Well, the extraordinary claim is that you can put a tin can in the water and make it rise and fall and swim around like a fish. And so you would think there would be a bunch of extraordinary proof to prove that claim. But just like everything else, if you actually look into it, you should be surprised by what you find. You would think it would be more obvious, more cut and dry. And it's just not. I shouldn't have any sort of reasonable argument. I shouldn't even be able to question something that stupid. But the truth is, it's really fucking crazy. It's really crazy how it works. And it literally is. It's up to you whether you want to see it or not. I don't really care. Yep, ballast tanks. Yep, I know. Listen, I'm going to make one argument, okay? My 200-pound body, if I go to the beach and I want to swim to the bottom of the beach, of the lake that I'm in, right? 5 foot deep water, whatever it may be. My 200-pound body floats in the water. If I take in that much air, Now, what percentage of my body weight do you think worth of air is? What percentage of my density do you think that much air makes up? And where does that air go? Does it disperse throughout my entire body, or does it just supposedly go into a small little portion in my body, my lungs? But my 200-pound body can take in air and float, and that makes me float. The only way I could sink to the bottom is if I expel that much air. That much air. Not even enough to blow up a balloon in one blow. Just think about that. They have submarines that are 80 feet, that the size of 80 school buses. And keeps my 200-pound body floating. Until you're willing to address that, it doesn't really matter. You know, you're not thinking clearly. That should make you question everything. When you just, because it's an experiment you can do yourself. I always tell people, take a 2-liter to the beach with you. Put the lid on the 2-liter and see if you can sink that motherfucker. See if you can swim it down to the bottom of the water. And unless you have a constant force, like yanking that shit down, it's gonna pop up and fly out of the water. Go ahead, fill it. I mean, the ballast tanks, they fill up maybe 5% of the entire body mass of the thing. Fill that 2-liter a quarter of the way, halfway up with water, put the top back on, and see what happens. It's amazing how stupid you are without even trying. You know, they've made us so stupid that we don't even question things that are right in front of us. Every single time you go swimming, you experience this. And it never dawns on you that, boy, that seems impossible that you could make something that can just hover underwater. Like a lot of times they say the submarine is just sitting there underwater, right? Do you know how ridiculous that is? How difficult that would be? But this is again, it doesn't matter what points are made, right? Because they're not going to actually address or even poke a hole in it. It's poke a hole, get it? It's just stupidity. I mean, at this point, it should be like, you know, holy shit, I never even thought about that. It should be easy to prove me wrong. That's the thing. You should be able to go find all sorts of submarine underwater footage. What it looks like from the submarine underwater. Camera on the outside as that thing is swimming around. Camera, like, you know, just like how every time they launch a rocket, you never see the camera pointing up, showing you the point where it goes from blue to black. Blue on black. Blue on black. You'll never see it. Why? You mean to tell me in all this time, no one's ever thought, hey, let's show them what it looks like when the sky changes? But hey, again, what do I know, right? So we are in the Iranian religion. And it's interesting to think, like, the Iranians were all about the Aryans. Which is just strange. Like, why would they You know, the Aryans, aren't those aren't those the white race? Nazi racial theories. But so then I was like, what's ancient Iranian religions? And then it was like, okay, so now we have Zoroastrianism. What is Zoroastrianism? And it just keeps like it just takes you into these places you didn't know existed. The ancient Iranian religion. What's the ancient Iranian religion? And this is supposedly, 1500, blah, 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 the origins. I mean, it's really crazy how you... So look, you're going to have somebody here that's going to do the same thing Wikipedia does. It's just the same old Israeli trick. So instead of addressing the point made, he's going to give you a bunch of details that don't matter. The U.S. Navy operated Fleet of 77, including 13 millennium names. And that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. This is what you'll see on Wikipedia all the time. Is they give you a variation of this narrative where, they provide you with a bunch of detail that doesn't matter. But you never get any details as to how things came to about, the process that was involved. But you'll get details like they turned down a job at one point from this person. And it's like, that's more important. What were we reading yesterday? I can't remember what it was, but it was just something along those lines where it was like, why are they even including this? But it's because they're providing you with details so that when you think back on this, you go, wait a minute, there was a lot of detail, so it must have been true. Which fact are we talking about now? Which part am I going to get? Israeli trick. I see what type of live I ran into. Oh, yeah, for sure. Everything. We hate everything about that cult and think that cult needs to go. What? So are we talking about the fact that he listed off a bunch of, like, the Navy operate? That's a fact? All you're doing is making shit up to make yourself feel better about the way stuff is. Yep, that's all I'm doing, and yet for some reason you're compelled to watch me every day and complain about it. I prove everything I say. Everything I say. Again, notice how the crybabies keep trying to get me to talk about subs. So then I make one point about the subs, and not one of them touches it. Or you get the one that mentions ballast tanks, but then that's it. This is what they do. It doesn't matter what thing I'm talking about. They're just here to disrupt. They're here to shoot the messenger. So that if somebody happens to be here and subscribes, like, share, subscribe, don't forget to like, share, and sub, then they're going to, ooh, delicious. Oh, and they're dark red now. I was 46 years old when my wife taught me how to eat raspberries the proper way. I didn't realize you're supposed to smash them up against the roof of your mouth and then just swallow. Because the only reason I don't like raspberries is because the seeds get in your teeth. They taste good. These ones especially are really good. But, yeah, 46 years old. But notice how, again, like the cowardly bullshit, right? All you have to do, like, there shouldn't be any sort of personal feelings involved, especially when it comes to the submarines thing. But instead of talking about the genocide, instead of talking about the slavery, instead of talking about how we can unify and kill these pedos, these guys just want to crybaby argue. I mean, how many of you truly believe that the first submarine was created in 1620? You believe that? When you think about when I tell you the 1600s and what you think 1600s society looked like, do you believe that somebody was capable of inventing a submarine back then? And not like a submersible, which still wouldn't make any sense, but a submarine that could carry 15 people, stay underwater for 3 hours, I think it was. I don't remember. Travel 300 meters. It was the first king, King James. Was it King James? Again, there's so much information, it spills over. But he was the first king to travel underwater. It was such a reliable thing that the king went inside of it. And they could travel up and down the River Thames in it, which is just a nasty river to begin with. And the ruling party of the day didn't think that it was, having this ability to covertly travel underwater, a technology that apparently none of your rivals had. You could go underwater, undetected underwater for large periods of time. The military, the ruling structure of the day didn't see value in it. So it just went away for another 100-some years. And then you get all these stories about submarine failures. Failure after failure after failure after failure. Until we just suddenly figure it out. And once we figure it out, whoa boy do we ever. In 1952, they decided that the Americans decided we needed nuclear-powered submarines. And within just a few years, we had them. They were able to engineer a nuclear power plant that could fit inside of a submarine, and that everything was sort of run by computers. Because, I mean, when you're talking about a submarine, there has to be constant calculations, right? There has to be a constant pressure adjustment to account for the outwards and inwards, the weight bearing down on the can, crushing it from all directions. So you constantly have to up that pressure as you descend, but also as you ascend, coming back up, you have to alleviate some of that pressure, or else you'll explode outwards, right? So somehow, go look at 50s computers. Go look at 60s computers, 70s computers. They supposedly just came up with the Concorde, which was the first plane to ever be completely run by onboard computers, completely operated, in 69. Well, go look at what computers look like in 69. Where were these big refrigerator-looking boxes with flashing buttons on them and reel-to-reel things and shit like that? Computers were the size of, they filled up rooms back in the day. And yet somehow they fit all of that into submarines in the 50s. Just like the whole jet fuel conspiracy. They tell you that the largest jets hold up to 68,000 gallons of jet fuel. 68,000 gallons of jet fuel. Jet fuel weighs 7.2 pounds per gallon. 7.2 or 7.6. It's heavier than water. But that's like 380 pounds worth of fuel, 380,000 pounds worth of fuel that is supposedly in the wings. It's in the wings. Go look up what a 60,000 gallon tank looks like. There are plenty of pictures of it online, and it'll show you. I don't want to lose the page. 60,000 gallon tank. Okay, so here's what a 60,000 gallon tank looks like. And if you look off to the side, you can see the truck. You think that much fucking fuel fits into the wings of an airplane? Look at how much bigger it is than the truck on the ground next to it. $60,000 gallons? Here's a 60,000 gallon LPG storage bullet, newly manufactured. $68,000 times 7.2 equals 489,600 pounds. I think it's safe to say 489,600. If you round things, if you're into rounding, that's just 1,000 pounds or so. That's not much in comparison there. So 490,000 pounds of fuel is being stored in the wings of the plane that weighs largest commercial plane is the Airbus A380. Let's see. Airbus. Oops. Airbus A380. Top speed 737 miles per hour. Passenger capacity 853. So let's just say the average weight is 200 pounds, right? You're looking at about 1,700 pounds of people. But that's nothing. Let's see. Airbus weight. An Airbus has a minimum takeoff weight of 570,000 or 1,268,000 pounds. Its empty weight is approximately 611,000 pounds. So its minimum weight at takeoff is 1,268,000 pounds. Fuel capacity. It holds approximately 84,535 gallons. 84,000, so jet fuel weight per gallon. Jet fuel weighs around 6.7. My bad, 6.7 pounds. So 84,535 times 6.7. That's 566,384.5 pounds of liquid fuel flying up in the air. Now, let's see. Jet fuel cost per gallon. Okay, so the current cost of jet fuel per gallon in the United States is approximately $2.29. So 84,535 times 2 point, what was it? Damn it, I want to get it right. 2.29, sorry, okay. 84,535 times 2.29 equals $193,585 in fuel alone. Right? That's how much that fuel costs. How much is your average ticket price? Airbus holds 853 people. Price. Oh, they cost $445 million to make it. $445 million to make it. So you think at that cost, that has to be included in the ticket price because they have to be able to offset the initial cost of that thing. So they can range from a few hundred to tens of thousands of dollars. First class tickets on long-haul A380 flights, like those offered by Emirates, can cost over $16,000 for a round trip. So, but that doesn't show us like how many first class capacity. The Airbus A330 typically accommodates 14 first class seats. So, 14 times 16,000 is $224,000 in those seats if they're all at the max or more, it says, I guess. So that means 800 Airbus 380 ticket price economy. Couldn't think of the name. Generally ranges from a few $100s for shorter routes to several thousand for long-haul flights. For example, Emirates offers round-trip economy fares from Dubai to Mumbai for around $960, while flights from New York to Dubai can be over $8,000. So 840, we'll say, because that's the, take out the first class tickets times 8,000 equals $6,720,000. $6,720,000. So that would be a pretty significant profit, even if you did take out the cost of the fuel and all that. So that's actually a significant profit if every single flight is an $8,000 seat plus the 14 first class seats are maxed out. But if you were to then go times 900, that's 756,000. That definitely lowers the profit value on that. And that's like, that's basically breaking even. Never mind the logistics of it all. I think that shit's fascinating. You know, I think, like, I don't just, at this point with the society that I've been given, for me to believe anything I'm just told on the surface is just foolish. That's why first class gets the only good treatment on the plane. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's still a huge plane. I would have thought it would have had more passengers than that. And that's just that plane, like the, you know, the non-Airbus planes, the non-double-decker giant planes, the regular like 747s and shit. Those have basically the same weight. Those carry less fuel, but still, they have a passenger capacity of a couple hundred. It really doesn't make any sense how they would be able to afford, how they're making any sort of profit when you then think of like, so the jet fuel, like all of the workers involved. You know, just think about how many employees are at your average airport. How many employees it takes to get you from point A to point B. From the check-in people to the baggage handling to the, you know, the stewardesses or the flight attendants and the pilots and all that other shit. Like, there's a lot of people that have to get paid out of that money as well. Yeah, the government subsidies. That's the only way it can work. And you think about it, like, imagine if you you made something, you provided some sort of service, but you didn't make money. So the government was like, here, we'll pay you. It's just a strange concept. However, if you take the fuel cost out of it, things start to make more sense. Yes, it is money you could be sending to Israel instead. Or we do. We would be sending to Israel instead. And anybody that supports that is just a stupid motherfucker. Like, if you're not Jay, they hate you. Why you've been tricked into supporting these people is just beyond me. I mean, I get that, like, they've wrapped up your eternal salvation in it. I do understand that. You know, it's like most people, if they have like a grandparent that's rich and they're set to get a huge inheritance, they're not gonna do what it takes to. They're not gonna say anything that upsets grandma and risks losing that inheritance. You know, they're just gonna play along. And when your eternal salvation, because you're scared to die, which all of us should be scared to die. You absolutely should be scared to die. Dying sucks. No coming back from that one. But it's arrogant to think that you have to keep going. I mean, you kill bugs all the time. You don't think about their livelihoods. You eat animals. You eat things that when they're little, you go, oh my God, that's so cute. So we have somebody crying right now, talking about, you appeared in my feed again. And if YouTube tells me I need to watch something, I have to watch it. Will you just, this person is wishing I would overdose. I would die. Because otherwise they have to watch my feed. And they don't agree with me that we should kill pedos. And they don't agree with me that we should stop the genocide and we should eliminate those same rulers keeping us all as slaves. You know, this is the best that they can do. This is the only way that they can combat me is through this kind of stupidity, and they're just hoping it's, they're hoping it's going to catch on to the masses that they've been manipulating for decades. Kill yourself literally became something that people say to each other all the time. Oh, kill yourself, even jokingly. What a horrible thing. I've been waiting I've been waiting years for the Jays to come get this man, but he keeps going live each day. How can crying how evil the Jays. So you just admitted you've been watching me for years? Who does that? I watched this guy for years because I hate him so much. And I don't actually try to debunk anything he says. I just say stupid shit. Like, is this what you guys all do? Do you guys do that? That's not something that exists in my world. This isn't something that I can really understand. Like, the closest I can get is the 700 Club, when I used to watch the 700 Club, but I watched it to be informed. I wanted to know what the opposition was thinking. And I would have given anything to be able to speak directly to Pat Robertson or Gordon or Wendy or any of those fucking charlatans. And if I did get the opportunity to talk to them, I would flat out address what they say and do, not cry about their haircuts or anything stupid like that. So it's like as soon as it gets to the point where, like, I guess I can sort of relate in I watched something that I hated, the reasoning behind it is not only something I can explain, but it's something completely different. And when it comes to these clowns, like, they can't explain anything. They don't explain what the motivation is. Which, of course, leads to the Team Jorge explanation, which is the only thing that makes sense. Team Jorge, act.il, the Israeli networks for doing these exact things, right? That's the only part that makes sense. I have such a hard time believing that there really are this many dumb fucking sheep out there who are, like, fighting for the slave masters. See, again, instead of addressing what I'm saying, it's just shit. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. Then why are you even watching? Let me guess, because it's entertaining. So, again, I'm supposed to be upset about the idea that I'm the most entertaining thing you can find? Or is it because raspberry seed? Is it because YouTube told you to and you just do what YouTube says? I address this because I know there are new people here. And I know you're seeing something you've never quite seen before. If you go to anyone else's page, you're not going to see this kind of shit. Especially on the truther pages. So you're kind of probably wondering what's going on. And it's easy to explain. You can look it up. Team Jorge. Jorge. What's that? What's that? Oh, you want me to? Okay, I'll show you. So, we look up Team Jorge, which they know I'm going to read. And if everybody can just edit Wikipedia, you would think they would edit this to make me look stupid. but they don't. Team Jorge is the name given to an outfit of Israeli contractors specialized in the use of malign cyber activities, including hacking, sabotage, and bot farm-run social media disinformation campaigns to manipulate the outcomes of elections. Not YouTube feeds. Just elections. Just elections. A YouTube feed, that's you're thinking impossible there. They have the technology to interfere with a YouTube page? No, dude. Just elections. Presidential elections. The group was exposed in February 2023 after an award-winning undercover operation by journalists from Israel and France as part of a consortium of investigative journalists from around the world. The organization has been active since at least 2015 and boasts of having manipulated 33, that lucky number 33, presidential elections worldwide. I just heard another one the other day. Oh, they were saying something and it was 33 was the number. I can't remember. Many of them in Africa, so 4 or more in Africa. Don't worry, white people. It's in Africa. And in 27 cases with successful results. Their activities were revealed following a 2022 sting operation in Tel Aviv, carried out by three undercover journalists who posed as prospective clients and filmed their interactions with Tal, T-A-L, Hanan, H-A-N-A-N, the group's leader and former Israeli Special Forces operative, in which he explained the inner workings of the organization. He says Team Jorge has existed for more than 2 decades and has been engaged in propaganda and disinformation activities in more than 30 countries. Remember, this is just one group. Israel has countless, hundreds, thousands of black ops organizations operating with the same technology. This is just one group that was exposed. However, its first documented activity dates back to 2015, just before your buddy Trump. They love to push this. You're seeing this sort of creep back up again, the Russia interference, Russia. They love to pretend like there was this undercover Russian operation to get Trump elected. Well, even if there was, they failed, but they can't show you any proof of that. There's no evidence that Russia did anything. They just keep saying stuff. However, Team Jorge exists and brags of having interfered with presidential elections all over the world. And this is exactly when AIPAC put Trump in office, even though he lost by 2,700,000 votes. That was their first documented activity. Goes back to right around that exact same time. Go figure. Their services have been available to government intelligence agencies, political campaigns, and private companies that wish to covertly manipulate public opinion. This is the important part here. One of the organization's primary tools is a software package called Advanced Impact Media Solutions, or AIMS. The software automates centralized control of thousands, up to 30,000 at a time, they bragged about. Like the articles that you read, they brag about 30,000. Thousands of social media profiles on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Telegram, YouTube, and all the other profiles out there. All the other platforms out there. And they say it's not even, bots isn't even an accurate description. It's more along the lines of avatars. This is a technology that's unseen, that hasn't been seen by anybody else. When the investigators, with all of these different news groups and all these different computer nerds and all that, did their best to look into it, they had no idea what they were looking at. So that's Team Jorge. Now, wait, but we're not done yet, right? Because Team Jorge is a page that can be edited. So strange that they don't edit it to make me look stupid. But, especially since anybody can just edit Wikipedia. That's the argument, that you shouldn't use Wikipedia because anybody can just edit Wikipedia. Wait, what? Did you want to see some more proof real quick? Okay, wait, let me show you something. More of the undeniable stuff. Look at all the crybaby stuff on my feed, and then look at what I provide you. So this is IsraelNationalNews.com.
Moetzet Yesh, in conjunction with My Israel, has arranged Instruction Day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
I came here to learn.
So that is Naftali Bennett. At this point, he's a former Israeli prime minister. At that point, in 2010, he was he was a future prime minister. He's an Israeli operative, Mossad agent, blah, blah, blah. But he's there on camera talking about how Wikipedia is the #1 source of information in the world. And they are there to teach the editors how to edit things so that there's a balanced and Zionist perspective. If somebody searches something that has to do with Gaza, they want to be there and want to influence what is read. I really don't know how else I can prove things to you guys, right? And the reality is, if you're watching, and you have to ask yourself, who's behind all of these commenters who seemingly are mad at me for exposing this shit, right? What Americans are like, hey, stop telling the Israel secrets. Stop trying to wake Americans up to who's really running the show. Who's going to be like that? If you talk to anybody who has been doing what I've been doing, or, you know, not too many have been doing it for as long as I've been doing it, but in the recent years, you get guys like Jake Shields and shit like that. He talks about it all the time. How his page gets attacked by these nonsense profiles. Oh, wait, we're not done yet. Here, let's show you this part. So this is act.il, okay? And this one is locked, so there is no editing this page. Which means, who edited, who gave you the original edit? The editors at Wikipedia, who were taught by Israeli operatives how to edit things to make Israel look good. So everything that we read, even the stuff that makes Israel look bad, is the best spin they could put on it. And the fact is, you're not going to find too much good shit anyway. Most of it is pretty obvious, pretty blatant, and you're just like, what? Maybe I guess people just don't realize this is what's happening. Like, how the fuck is this the way it is? And it's okay. But act.il was a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online anti-Israel content, such as the BDS boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. Its activities were referred to as a, quote, an online propaganda campaign and, quote, a virtual situation room for pro-Israel experts. You guys understand, if you know, people, you say these same things every day. If the only thing that comes out of my feed is that people around the world, people around the US, understand what Team Jorge is and act.il was and the implications involved, I'm okay with that. It's all good. So act.il, quote, pay attention here, directed its users to, quote, missions to like, comment on, and share pro-Israel material on social media. It also asks users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Israel. Users were guided on how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points. So now when you see all of these random profiles saying the same dumb shit, getting it, like spelling it the same way wrong, you know, grammatically using the same grammatical errors, but just like the idea that so many people don't know what schizophrenia is. The idea that you know, let's see if we can find some good stuff here. Just I don't know, all of it. The drunk stuff, whatever. The fact that they don't actually address what's being said, but they all say the same sort of dumb shit. These are the talking points that are provided. If somebody starts making you look stupid, talk about where they live, talk about what they do for a living, talk about, you know, say Palestine doesn't exist, you know, say that's anti-Semitic. That's one of the big ones that they use. That's anti-Semitic. Because apparently they don't know what words mean. Anyway, or sharing or upvoting an allied comment. The app also provided users with ready-made memes promoting Israel's perspective for them to share. By completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, and had their scores displayed on leaderboards. They got prizes and shit. They got prizes and shit. Now, we're gonna look something else up real quick. So, Semitism definition into the Google machine. And bring it down to the Merriam-Webster definition, right? Because Webster's dictionary is the one. Semitism.
Semitism.
See? We're on the Semitism page. A Semitic character, number 1A, Semitic character or qualities. Number 1B, a characteristic feature of a Semitic language occurring in another language, right? Nothing big. Number 2, policy or predisposition favorable to the bad guys.
Semitism.
The bad guys. So when you understand that, like, it's really actually kind of interesting how it works. Because they can shut things down by saying, hey, that's anti-Semitic, or hey, that's anti-Semitism. And instead of people understanding, it's like they've been tricked into believing that that means they were racist. And people just don't understand how to respond to that. But if somebody calls you anti-Semitic, you should be offended. You should say, hey, I'm not a racist. I don't oppose Semitic people. It's always funny to me when the Israelis say that the Palestinians are being anti-Semitic, when the Palestinians are the only ones that are Semitic among the two. You know, Semitic is the regional identity. The people that are from that region are considered Semitic people. Palestinians, Iranians, the Syrians, the Lebanese, the North African tribes, you know, these are all Semitic people. So saying that is them saying you oppose an entire region of people, which none of you do. Well, actually a lot of you do, but that's not what you're saying. When they say that's anti-Semitism, they're telling you the truth. But instead of you embracing it and saying, you're right, I am very proudly oppose supremacy in all of its forms. Anybody who thinks that they should get the policy, the rules and regulations, and the predisposition, meaning how people go into it thinking, favorable to them just because they're them, that's supremacy. And this is a perspective. This isn't a race. Don't get it twisted. We are not talking about a race of people. You cannot convert to a race. You can't be like, oh, I grew up in fucking redheaded parents, both of them. I'm redheaded and freckled, but I'm going to convert over to being black now. That's not how that works. Man, I wish I could get this guy named John Harrison on here. He's an old friend of mine. He used to be friends with me. And one day he's drunk and he calls me. And you know, we would talk every few months. And he would say things like, you know, dude, you make me think about all these things, and here I am thinking one way, and then I talk to you and I'm all fucked up and blah. And he loved to get the personal guyanisms. And so, morning, how are you? Living the dream. It's Groundhog Day. It's the same day every day. But they don't want you knowing the truth. They don't want you taking pride. Do you know that in 2020, it's either 2020 or 2021, I can't remember. But they changed the spelling of anti-Semitism from ANTI hyphen capital SEMITISM to all one word, all lowercase, ANTISEMITISM. Tell me another word that you know of that they changed the spelling of it. They had hearings to change the spelling of something. Show me one example of it. This word's been around since the 1880s when it was originally coined. And it was originally coined for exactly what it means, opposing supremacy. It was coined in Germany, against the leadership that believed themselves to be superior and, you know, born that way, and the people were opposing it. So anti-Semitism was originally like a rallying cry. And then they took it over. And then in 2020, I think it was 2020, maybe it was 2021, they decided to change the spelling because they didn't want the people to think anti-Semitism opposed something called Semitism. They didn't want the people to realize that it is two words, it's hyphenated. It's funny too because Trump has the coalition, what is it? The coalition. What the fuck's it called? I can't believe I forgot what it's called. Oh, the task force, right? The anti-Semitism task force. That's what it is. Let's see what this says. AI overview. Trump's interactions and statements related to anti-Semitism have been the subject of significant discussion and debate. Here's a summary of the key points. Use of anti-Semitic tropes. Critics have accused Trump of using anti-Semitic tropes in his rhetoric. Wait, what? Are we saying... Are we saying Trump hasn't gone after free speech over this? Such as those related to Jews and money or dual loyalty.
This is fucking hilarious. You guys have to hear this.
Okay.
I'm just... I can't believe it. It's embarrassing as fuck that this is the shit going around about the so-called leader of our country.
Doesn't this drive you crazy?
He's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. This is somebody that we want for president? I don't think so. What I care about is the direction of this country.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In a blistering, unfiltered takedown, legendary actor Robert De Niro pulled no punches in his assessment of Donald Trump, unleashing a torrent of insults that cut through political correctness and exposed the raw contempt many Americans feel toward the former president. He's a bozo, a punk, and an idiot. The Oscar winner dismissed Trump as a fool, undeserving of the presidency, mocking his inflated ego and chronic incompetence. I want to punch him in the face, a visceral expression of frustration from a man who has played tough guys on screen but rarely loses his cool in real life. He's a wannabe tough guy who hides behind lawyers and Twitter rants. De Niro skewered Trump's fake bravado, contrasting his mob boss persona with his history of cowardice. Unlike politicians who temper their critiques, De Niro's fury is unrestrained, and it resonates because it mirrors the rage of millions who see Trump as a con artist turned existential threat. His insults aren't just funny, they're cathartic, giving voice to the frustration of watching a man who belongs in a courtroom, not the White House, dominate headlines. True to form, Trump fired back with a rambling Truth Social post calling De Niro a washed-up actor. Ironic, given Killers of the Flower Moon acclaim, and recycling his usual Hollywood elite attacks. But the damage was done. De Niro's words trended worldwide, proving Trump's thin skin is still his biggest weakness. Robert De Niro's blistering condemnation of Donald Trump wasn't just another celebrity rant. It was a 5-alarm fire warning about the existential threat facing American democracy. When the Oscar-winning actor stood before cameras and declared, "Fuck Trump," he gave voice to the fury and fear millions feel as the former president marches toward another potential term. A man who portrayed Travis Bickle and Al Capone knows dangerous when he sees it. I've played tough guys my whole career, De Niro said. Trump's a fake tough guy, all bluster and lawsuit. This isn't about politics anymore, De Niro warned. It's about whether we'll tolerate a con artist who treats the Constitution like a buffet, taking what he wants and spitting out the rest. While politicians parse their words, De Niro's raw anger reflects what polls show. Most Americans view Trump as a threat to democracy, 58%. A convicted felon, 83% believe he's guilty. Unfit for office, 60%. De Niro's message carries special weight because Hollywood helped create Trump's celebrity. Now he's sounding the alarm. Every time we normalize his lies, every time we shrug off his crimes, we inch closer to losing what makes America, America.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. I'm sorry.
A little red right now, but have you heard anything from De Niro since? Isn't that interesting?
I mean, I don't think we're in that world. I'm sure if you looked him up, there would be, just look him up real quick. See if there's any Robert De Niro anything. I'm sure he's working. Robert De Niro news. Robert De Niro adorably brings his 2-year-old granddaughter Gia to meet the Wiggles 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
That's news.
The time Robert De Niro recommended his own replacement to Martin Scorsese. Robert De Niro and why he's not despairing over Trump's presidency. I mean, just same old bullshit, same old distraction bullshit. It's all just, it's literally all it is.
He's a mutt. I mean, like I said, it's sad that we've come to.
We've always been here, though. People have always talked shit, just not on TV.
Not
But that's not on TV either. That's on the internet. The internet is just a whole different game. But it's, this is just, Trump is always has been and always will be one of the greatest distractions they've ever given us. Right now, can you imagine if everyone that's talking about the Epstein shit was talking about the genocide? Nobody's talking about the genocide anymore. And it's not like Trump isn't okay with taking the hit to get the distraction.
It didn't stop. It wasn't worse.
It's literally only gotten worse. It only gets worse every fucking day. Yeah, Ukraine and Russia is a peace agreement. Right. I mean, it really is. It's the greatest fear conspiracy come to reality. It's impossible. Like you see it on my feed. You never see anybody actually argue against what I'm saying as far as they control everything. We should stop giving them money, blah, blah. You never see anybody engage in that sort of argument. And if anything, as soon as we start talking about anything that has to do with the genocide with Israel and stuff, they just go crazy trying to change the subject. Which is generally why I hate talking about other things at this point. For the most part, all of the conspiracy stuff, not only can you find other people, you can find other people with much better pages, graphs, and they're sitting down like you demand. It's sponsored one way or another. They got their little desk. And there's all kinds of people talking about every element of the distraction possible. Although, the one thing I haven't seen anyone say yet, and granted, I don't frequent these worlds anymore, but I haven't heard anyone question the legitimacy of the Epstein video just as a whole. Like, how do we know that that's actually the video from that night on that day, in that prison? How do we know any of that? It's just a grainy, shitty video where the faces are impossible to identify. And at 12 o'clock, not only does there's a minute get lost, the fucking angle changes. The angle on a camera that isn't allowed to be touched, that doesn't move, that's behind a special protective housing to make sure the inmates can't get at it. There's literally no reason why the angle should have changed even a little bit. And it did change a little bit. And it's just like to me that's that one piece. Usually when they present us something, there's a whole bunch of holes, but a lot of them depend on your perspective on things. I like to focus on the one thing that is universal that can't be denied. So with this piece that they're giving us, it's undeniable that the camera angle changes. There's just no, it not only is it undeniable, there's no legitimate way to explain it other than there's fuckery going on. And that same sort of thing is with the Trump shooting. There are so many things that are talking points. Why did everybody just sit there and watch? There was a shooting happening. Why didn't they run away like people do when there's somebody gets shot in front of them? Nobody knew there was if there was any more bullets coming. Nobody knew if there was any more shots coming. Why would the guy way off to his left have been his headshot blown open, and red shirt Joseph, say that he saw the guy's head explode and the bullet had to come from Trump's left and behind him? Yet we're told that the shooter was, at like 1 o'clock compared to Trump. I mean, these are all sorts of pieces that are like, I mean, these aren't even, these are sort of debatable, I guess. And if you don't remember Red Shirt Joseph, well, then it's really hard to have the discussion with you. And if you're not going to believe that Red Shirt Joseph existed, well, then that's on you. But something that nobody can deny, and it doesn't matter what side you're on, you should have questions regarding it, is where the fuck are all the cell phone videos and live feeds from all the people that had, it's 2024. People walk around with 2 cell phones. People are always filming. There are cell phone videos from far away where you can hear the shots in the distance and the people start, acting like normal people, sort of running around looking and shit. But where are all the videos of the exact shooting? I bring this up every time, but my wife watches those dumbass shows on Ion Network, NCIS and Criminal Minds and all that shit. And one of the things that they used to be able to do, according to those TV shows, is that in almost any given situation, with social media being what it was back 15 years ago, that everybody's always uploading pictures or videos of something. So at any given, especially a major event, if something were to happen, they can just search and all the pictures that were uploaded right around that time and basically create a 3D model from it. And that totally makes sense. Like, that's not even far-fetched. You'd think that would be pretty easy to do. When it comes to the Trump footage, I mean, everybody and their mom would have had their cell phones out. There should be the most detailed video possible. But of course, the only real shot we get is this straight-on shot of Trump where he turns his head at the very last second, which, again, if the guy was at 1 o'clock and Trump turned his head like this, the bullet would have went through his head. It wouldn't have hit his fucking ear. But, of course, because he turned his head, there's no slow-motion shot of the bullet actually hitting his ear. Frame-by-frame shot, slowed down to show us exactly that. The blood spray come up that would, of course, have to happen. Like, it just is what it is. There should be, like when I first heard about it, it wasn't live. My friend said something to me, and I ran to the internet to look it up, and I figured I'm going to go to YouTube and there'll just be all these different videos, all these different viewpoints of it. And immediately I noticed that it's only CBS, ABC, the official news networks. Not a single person had uploaded footage of that incident. And I just thought, that is fucking, it's been an hour. There should be all sorts of live footage. People had to be live at the event, filming live, like I'm doing right now. Why wouldn't, if you're at that exact thing, Trump's giving his speech, you're there in support, why wouldn't you be live to your audience, to your fan base? And I don't think that's everybody. But to say it was nobody is hard to digest. Somebody says you're lost. Y-O-U-R, lost. Hopefully I can get to your level someday. Everything has to be logical, people. Yep. Don't try to make sense of things. They have footage of him climbing the building and yelling for police. Who? I mean, all the cell phone footage that actually shows the shooter, ask even more questions. How is it that random people manage to see and film this guy for, not just a split second, but for minutes? And the Secret Service didn't know? Thomas Matthew Crooks, or Matthew Thomas Crooks, I don't remember which one it was. But last name's Crooks. He's a 20-something who doesn't have a social media footprint. The whole thing is just bullshit. It's just bullshit. Yeah. It's okay if people spell words wrong on a system that provides you the right word. In a situation where they're trying to tell me how stupid I am, yep, it's okay that they spell words wrong, basic words wrong, that like if you were presenting something, you would get knocked for it. Why wouldn't you spell words correctly? It's one thing if you're like abbreviating really long words or something. But using the correct your is, it's the same amount of presses. You put Y-O into the thing, it's going to give you the option of you or your. And for you to need the option, I mean, I can get not wanting to push the apostrophe because I guess it is extra typing. But to have the option where it populates it for you and you pick the wrong word on a regular basis. While again, you're trying to sound like some sort of authority, some sort of intelligence. Like, it just doesn't work. And if it works for you, if you can accept that and you then think the person that doesn't know, basic grammar school shit, they must be smarter than, well, that's on you. The only thing I know about you is what you present. If you present yourself as a dumbass, I can't do anything but think of you as a dumbass. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're such a voice of authority. Well, this is my feed, and nobody has to be here. So as far as this feed goes, yeah, I'm definitely the voice of authority, especially when I know how to spell basic shit. I mean, if it doesn't matter what words you type, then why don't you just lay on the keyboard? For someone who doesn't believe in basic education, yep, I don't believe in basic. Look at how, so like this is one of these dumbasses that's been here for such a long time, and has been proven wrong and doesn't admit that they're wrong. Like we've already had this just begging for attention forever. But in order to make arguments, he has to make up my side of things. He can't argue the actual things being said, so he makes up things he can argue. If I didn't believe in basic education, I wouldn't send my kids to school. We'd be living in a fucking Winnebago, traveling around the countryside, being hippies. Gross. That shit's crazy. Again, if you're going to sit here and defend stupidity, you're just proving my point. There's nothing for me to say in that regard. Understand that my opposition is crying because they're stupid and they're defending it. It's okay that I'm stupid. What's wrong with you? It's okay. Just understand I'm stupid, but I'm smarter than you. And what you're saying is wrong. I can't tell you how or why. I'm just saying it's wrong. So believe me because I'm stupid. It's fucking amazing. It's amazing. And as always, I have to ask you, the people on here, get in the house. What are you doing? Get in the house, Jessica, right now. Yes. I will call the police. Bear it and share it, baby. Come on. Don't talk the talk if you're not going to walk the walk. Don't sass the pass if you're not going to show the ass. Come on. Ah! I'm blind. I'm blind. I can't. I'm locked out. Yep. I went to put the cat out, and the cat jumped through the window and put me out instead. So I've been banging on the door like, Angela! But she won't come. The secret to watching, huh? So you watch me muted? So you just like looking at me? That's fucking weird. To think you watch me muted. You got nothing else going on in your life, so you watch another dude on mute. And I'm supposed to be like, oh man, that hurts my feelings. That is fucking strange, dude. That is strange. We've got another dude saying the same thing. Some bad times I just lay back and watch. You just watch me walk in circles. That is so creepy. Oh my God. I've never heard of or admitted to something so creepy in my life. That's fucking, you need to question some shit now. What a fucking weirdo. That is. That's just crazy. commentary? So what do you think? I just had some dudes admit that sometimes they just watch me on mute. Do you like ever do that? Watch some dude talk on mute?
No. Yeah, that's a lie. I think they just like it based on it.
That's what it seems like to me. I'm asking you guys. I want to. So I just had some dudes acknowledge that they sometimes they watch me on mute.
Why?
I guess they like the way I look. I don't really know.
That's very gay.
It's very, very gay. I agree with you.
I'm just confused. Why would they want to watch somebody on mute unless they just want to? I mean, are they deaf?
No, that I guess that's
The only like non-gay explanation.
Well, what would it matter if they were deaf? Then they wouldn't need to watch it on mute.
Okay, that's just very, very weird.
All right, well that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't.
No, that is
Crazy.
very gay.
All right, that's 2 out of 3. Let's see. So I just had multiple dudes acknowledge that they watch me on mute. Huh? Well, I don't know. What is that? What's the only thing that comes to mind? I guess. That's supposed to be some like knock against me thing, but I had to check with you guys on this one.
Creepy.
Huh?
That's creepy.
It's super creepy. It's super weird. I can't say I've ever done that before.
Don't admit to anybody else.
She said, don't admit that to anybody else. For real, I'm embarrassed for you. I mean, I have to agree with you on that. That's creepy as hell. But that's also, if you open the books on Israel, you demonize Israel stupid. This person literally thought that was going to be a good comment. Whether it's a joke, whether it's serious, whatever it is, they weren't smart enough to realize that's not an insult to me. That's you showing just how fucking stupid you are. Whether you mean it or you were just saying it to I guess be funny or something. I don't really know. But that's fucking funny, man. That's funny. That's fucking funny. Alright, what is something that we need to look up? So I saw this the other day and I wanted to look this up. The Treaty of 1783. See, like I said, I want to look these things up, but this is just talking about a narrative that we're given that's no doubt not true. It's all just fake bullshit. But it's not what we should be talking about right now. Let's see what happens when I put Israel into the Google machine right now. See what comes up. I haven't done that in a while. There's no point anymore. Prior to October 7th, I did it every day. Because I was trying to tell you guys, trying to show you guys that October 7th was about to happen. You know, and then the subsequent genocide. But nowadays, it just seems like I'm reading the propaganda they want read. It's like they're bragging. Live, Israel kills 73 aid seekers in Gaza. 9 minutes ago, this just happened. Issues evacuation threat. That's an old video. At least 84 people, including 73 aid seekers, killed by Israeli attacks across Gaza, more than 200 people wounded. 2 more Palestinians, including a 35-day-old infant, have died of malnutrition at Gaza's City Al-Shifa hospital. Tens of thousands of people marched in Tel Aviv, urging the U.S. President Donald Trump to reach a deal to end the war and bring back about 50 captives remaining in Gaza. That's what they wanted. These psychopaths are marching, are protesting to get the hostages, the not real hostages back. Look, if those hostages were real, they would have gotten them back by now. They supposedly know where they are. And the reality is, Hamas offered to give all the hostages back almost immediately if Israel stopped its bombing campaign. And Israel was like, no, we're just going to drop bombs everywhere indiscriminately because there are real hostages out there. And at the end of this, they're going to have gotten back like 95% of the hostages. Israel's war in Gaza has killed at least, oh, come on. We're still saying 58,000 people, 58,895 people, and wounded 140,980. It has at least done that. That's true. The number's more like 300,000 killed and you know, millions wounded, but they don't want to say that. But they are saying that. An estimated 1,139 people were killed in Israel during the October 7th attacks, and more than 200 were taken captive. So, do you see how it's written? This is what I always tell you guys. I couldn't have made this happen if I wanted it to. An estimated 1,139 people were killed in Israel. That does not mean Israelis. Remember, Israel almost immediately bragged that they killed about 1,500 Hamas almost immediately. And they don't refer to themselves as people in Israel. If you read the news, and you've been following this story for any lengthy period of time, even if you look at the stuff that exists today, the narrative is always people killed in Israel. And if you read what they say normally, they always refer to themselves as Israelis. This many Israelis did this many Israelis did that. That's how it's reported. So to think that for some strange reason they refer to themselves as people killed in Israel, that's not how it works. And there's literally no proof of any of it. The only proof that they've given is a list that has mostly military names on it, and you know, some bullshit video that doesn't actually show anything. It's a strange fucking, you know, it's a strange, obvious narrative, and it's really sad to think, like, if these people on my feed were really like Americans, they were military people, they were whatever, to know that this is how this works, and that American troops are being sent over to die for this bullshit. And that we are being drug into a war over this bullshit. Like it's all just it's all just lies and manipulation to justify what's happened. The killing of, even if it was accurate, 59,000 people. It's so much more than that, with such a large percentage being children. But even if it was just 59,000 people, if you say that you've killed 59,000 people and leveled an entire place, there is no going back. You've displaced millions. You've wounded hundreds of thousands. Because you supposedly lost 1,139 people. That's not how things work. That's not fair. And it absolutely makes no sense that Hamas would do the attack to begin with, knowing that this would be the outcome. I knew this would be the outcome. I predicted it long before it happened. There'll be some bullshit where they say around 1,000 Israelis were killed. I bet you can find a video of me saying that exact same thing. And that it would spark the genocide. But Israel had killed at least 240 people, civilians, in their nightly raids leading up to, and it's more like 500, maybe more, in their nightly raids leading up to October 7th. If Israel has a right to defend itself, then the Palestinians had a right to defend themselves. They were clearly under attack. 2023 was setting up to be the deadliest year since 2006. Second only to 2022, which was the deadliest year since 2006. Second to 2021, which was the deadliest year. Like, they were just escalating every year. Killing people and taking thousands and thousands hostage each year. Arresting them. The hostage bullshit, it's all just as fake as can be. Look at what the supposed Israeli hostages look like. Even if you say it's because Hamas took good care of them, well, how? They can't take care of their people. Why are they going to great lengths to make sure the Israelis are fed and tan and happy and healthy? So happy and healthy, they're kissing their captors, they're shaking their hands, they're saluting them. Like, it's shocking. It's shocking how stupid that they seem to know we are, because you have to be stupid to fall for the narrative we're given. And they do. It's fucking disgusting. It really is. The videos that exist showing what's being done to children and shit, it's unreal. And these are just the videos that aren't destroyed by standards. Like, YouTube, Instagram is a lot better because they don't block as much. And the things that you see coming out of these areas is just atrocious. It's atrocious. It's horrific. How anybody can see it and not think. Hey, man. Hey. I think he's got it in headphones. Hey. Lawn guy. I was going to ask him about this. Hey. I can't hear shit. Yeah, he doesn't. My man. Okay. You have on headphones.
I can't hear shit, man. How
Hey,
you doing?
Good. I was just watching you do that. Have you seen the commercials for the metal ones? The metal, instead of having the wire, they have like an attachment that's metal.
I heard of them.
I was gonna ask you if you'd used them or not. I wanted to know if they were any
I heard
good.
of them, but this twine pretty good for
Yeah.
this type of weed whip.
Yeah.
You get that black diamond black. It's pretty killer.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to know about the metal one. I wanted to see if you. Yeah.
I'd like to invest in that. I heard about it.
You should.
It's
Yeah.
badass too.
It seems like it. I don't know. If you don't have to replace cable, that'd be sweet. I just, every time they show you something on TV,
Oh yeah.
it's janky. It's gonna break, especially for somebody that uses it like you would.
Like,
Yeah.
Like I do.
Right. All right, man.
Oh yeah.
I wanted a professional opinion on that shit. Whoa. I can't do no weed whip. I hurt my shit. Listen, I know that you're talking about the fucking worst genocide ever broadcast being shown to us on fucking right in our faces. They're stealing our tax money for it. It's just, I know it's atrocious. But hey, talk about submarines. Funny how that shit always works, huh? Deadly attack on central Gaza raises today's death toll. A source at, and again, this idea that it's 58,000 or 59,000 is insane. A source at El Qaeda Martyrs Hospital reported that a Palestinian woman was killed and others were wounded in an Israeli attack that targeted a house in the south of Deir el-Balah in the central Gaza Strip. Gaza's hospitals report that today's death toll now stands at 87 killed, including 73 aid seekers. People who went to get some aid, lured into a trap and killed. Jad Isaac, director of the Applied Research Institute in Jerusalem, a Palestinian environmental NGO based in Bethlehem, said the Palestinian Water Authority has no authority over one drop of water. All of the water in the West Bank and Gaza is under control of the Israeli army, and this has been going on since 1967. Yeah, like it's not even a secret. To imply that it's some other way is just it's insulting. Man, they get big fast. Morning. We are not allowed to dig wells or install a water pipe without permission from the Israelis. The quotas allocated to us by the Israeli army is hardly enough to meet the needs of the Palestinians. His comments come as Palestinians in the occupied West Bank say attacks by Israelis from illegal settlements on water supplies are making it harder to stay in their villages. I mean, this is like, this story, you can find this exact same story, 1,000 times over in the past few decades, in the past few years. This is just what they do. Isaac said when the Zionist movement began in 1948, quote, they clearly started preparing for the division of Palestine based on the hydrological grounds and not ideological or historic grounds. So far, there have been more than 45 attacks on Palestinian Springs, Isaac said. Jesus Christ. Hunger, malnutrition lead to deaths of 86 people in Gaza. At least 86 people in Gaza, including 76 children and 10 adults, died due to hunger and malnutrition following Israel's blockade on the enclave, according to Gaza's health ministry. That's what's been reported. Thing is, it costs you money to do that, right? You know your relative is dead. Why do you need to transport them to the hospital while you're in this time of grief? Why would you need to transport them just so they can be counted? They're dead. You know they're dead. That number is so many thousands more. On Telegram, the health ministry said the level of hunger and malnutrition in the enclave was leading to a silent massacre. The Ministry of Health holds the Israeli occupation and the international community responsible. We demand the immediate opening of the crossings to allow food and medicine in. I mean, it's like what is the holdup at all? Like, how is this even a thing? How is this so clearly reported on, and yet we're just allowing it? They're taking our money to do it. $3.8 billion a year as a base upfront lump sum payment to Israel every year. And then it's supposed to be under this idea that they use it to buy weapons from us. But Trump eliminated that from the contract. And instead replaced it with the U.S. will keep caches of weapons in Israel that we can use for emergency purposes, but the Israelis are welcome to use at any point, and we'll just keep restocking them. And anytime you hear a narrative where, Israel bought $20 million worth of weapons from us, they didn't. We have a bunch of grants and hurricane relief for other places set aside to pay for these weapons purchases that supposedly Israel makes. Literally all we do is just give and give and give and give, and we get nothing out of it. Nothing but the condemnation that they then present to us as, they hate your freedom. It's just fucking insane. We are face to face with another Israeli misleading and largely contradictory enforcement evacuation order. People are told in order to avoid being bombed to move to the Al-Masari area that has been designated as a safe zone. But since day one of the designation of this area, Palestinians have been killed and maimed and bombed there. This is not a safe zone. In fact, there is no safe zone in a war zone. This is very misleading. The Israeli army ordered the forced evacuation of the central part of Gaza in Deir el-Balah that has somehow remained intact. Many residential buildings, facilities, UNRWA schools, hospitals where people can take their shelter properly are still intact but are now at risk of being destroyed. Since the evacuation order, the Israeli military bombed the area close to 8 times, spreading fear among the residents who are still hesitant to leave the area. They know that walking into Al-Maswari is like walking into a death trap where they are going to be killed within days, weeks, hours. It highlights the vulnerability of displaced people who have been displaced multiple times since the start of the war, to the point where they have no other option than staying in their homes in the central areas. Time for a recap. Palestinian Health Ministry says at least 84 people, including 73 waiting for aid, were killed across Gaza in Israeli attacks since dawn. Israeli army says another soldier has died by suicide. That's it. This is the majority of their casualties have been by suicide or friendly fire or Hannibal directive kind of shit. The fourth to do so in the past 2 weeks. What do you think is being done to these guys that they are committing suicide over it? I mean, to me, it's great, 4 less, but still. That's how fucked up it is that their people are breaking because of it. This would be such a huge. If 4 people committed suicide in 2 weeks, in a military situation, this would be a big story. It should be. What's going on? Pope Leo has reiterated a call for the end to the barbarity of war during his service on Sunday as he spoke with his hunt after an Israeli attack on Gaza's only Catholic church on Thursday. Oh, now that they attacked the Catholic Church, the Pope is speaking up. Oh, well, that seems pretty typical, doesn't it? That's basically how everyone is. They only care when it happens to them. A friend of mine had some shit going on where they went through like a psychological detox. And it was really, really intense. And she said she was crying and begging for Jesus to come help her. And there was no answer. And it made her question everything. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, so that happens to you when you question it. Children who have survived initial bombings and are living with their family in a tent, who then have a bomb dropped on that, well, that's not enough to make you question things. Like, it's really just fucking insane. And the Catholic Church is reiterating it. Now they're finally saying something. 7 Palestinian homes have been given demolition notices in the town of Al-Qadr, south of Bethlehem in the occupied West Bank. An aid ship heading to Gaza, aiming to break Israel's siege, has departed in southern Italian port Gallipoli in what organizers call a mission for the children of Gaza. Iran has replaced air defenses damaged by Israeli attacks last month. Hamas calls situation in Gaza systematic ethnic cleansing. Hamas did it? Man, that Hamas. Hamas says Israel's actions across Gaza are systematic ethnic cleansing, which is killing, starvation, and thirst are used as tools of genocide. Like, are they the only ones saying that shit, huh? Because I could swear there's a lot of people saying that same thing. In a statement, Hamas, again, who the fuck is Hamas? Hamas said the deaths of more than 70 children from malnutrition were a stain on humanity, and the silence from the international community was an additional crime. Thousands of tons of aid are stuck behind the Rafah crossings as Gazans die of hunger, thirst, and disease. We hold the occupation and the U.S. administration fully responsible for the massacres at aid points and the systematic killing mechanism in Gaza, the Palestinian group said. I mean, where is the UN? Where's China? Where's Russia? Where is anybody to step in and be like, hey, this is inhumane. This psychopathic cult needs to be stopped. Because you can't just think it's going to stop with the Gazans. It's already not stopping with them. It's already bleeding into Syria and Lebanon and, The Netanyahu showed the greater Israel map, what their plan is. They don't hide it. God damn it. Fucking shit. Hamas called for an urgent investigation into the GHF, at whose sites more than 900 people have been killed while seeking life-saving aid. And you got to think, their choices are go to this place, risk getting killed to get aid, get the food from the people who are known to poison things. Those are the people supplying you the aid. So you have to either think, okay, I'm gonna get this food for my kid who's starving, but then I gotta know if I gotta, run the risk that it's poison. Like I honestly think that's the most savage aspect of this whole thing. As crazy as all of it is, as disgusting as all of it is, forcing parents to choose whether to feed their kids potential poison or not is just, it's appalling. And of course nobody's saying anything about it. Oh, starvation is killing my nieces and I can't do anything to save them. Aid ship for Gaza departs from southern Italy, and we'll see. I guarantee something fucking happens. Another Israeli soldier dies by suicide. The Israeli army says another soldier has died by suicide, the fourth to do so in the past 2 weeks. An army statement said that Dan Philipson, well, you would have never thought Philipson was a Jewish name. A soldier in training, originally from Norway, shot himself on Tuesday at a training base in southern Israel. He died of his injuries at the hospital. According to Israeli media, 19 soldiers have died by suicide since the start of the year, and 42 since the start of Israel's war on Gaza. That's pretty significant. That's like one a week. That's a lot. Israeli army destroys 3 homes. At least 73 aid seekers killed. About people waiting for aid. 900 people. Pope Leo calls for an end to the barbarity because the church got attacked. Let's see what it says. Pope Leo reiterated a call for the end of the barbarity of war during a service on Sunday as he spoke of his hunt. Never heard that before. After an Israeli attack on Gaza's only Catholic church. After his Angelus prayer, Leo read out the names of 3 people killed in the attacks and appealed to the international community to observe humanitarian law and respect the obligation to protect civilians, as well as the prohibition of collective punishment of indiscriminate use of force and forced displacement of the population, he added. Following widespread condemnation, Israel issued several statements, including from the army and Netanyahu, expressing deep regret for the attack in a rare move. Oh, well, they regretted it. It was a mistake. They slipped. They fell. This is nuts. 3 hours ago, Gaza Health Ministry says at least 130 people have been killed and 495 wounded by Israeli attacks in the past 24 hours. See, up until now, it was 73 people, 73 aid workers. Right? 130 people in the last 24 hours. 130 people in the last 24 hours. That's 5.4 people every hour in a 24-hour period. That's just...
That's awful.
That's basically a person every 10 minutes almost. And you want to talk about submarines. Go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg.group.com. It's free. All we ask is that you share it. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. Just click 0. It's free. Or donate. We appreciate it. There's a link to the movie Hollywoodism, which is the most important film ever made. It explains all of this, whether you like it or not. And there'll be 3 links to videos for our songs, COVID Sauce, Donald Trump Hates America, and Sleight of Hand Job. Videos on Facebook, so go like, share, and sub those. Like, share, and sub this. Do what you gotta do. Most importantly, as always, you fucking pedophiles, man, kill yourself.